Good noon, world. Simon Camara. I decided to make one video today because I had nothing to do. My next video I'll make probably Wednesday, guys. So this week I actually made 2 videos 2 days in a row, but I will not be pumping out videos every day for you guys. This is just an exception, obviously. I'm not gonna have you guys do like that, man. I'm only doing like 1-2 videos a week on average, and that's it. I reserve. Sometimes 3, right? Like this week, right? Next video I'll make probably Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll make a video maybe Friday, Saturday, or something like that. Hope you guys enjoyed my video yesterday when I talked about George Lucas and my brand loss for Xanus. Yeah, man, George Lucas is bold. Yeah, George Lucas is bold, and he's also brave. As the executives in Hollywood are very, very powerful, wealthy people. And George Lucas told all the executives, I'm taking 100% of the profits. I don't even know how he pulled that off. But, like, he just got lucky, George. George obviously fought for his rights when he was in the executive office. He really, really fought hard for his rights. Obviously. But I think the reason why George Lucas got lucky, there's 2 reasons. Hollywood was a different industry in the 70s than it is today. It was not, like, Hollywood was not that big the way it is today, obviously. And I believe Fox gave George Lucas the sequel rights. Obviously, they gave George Lucas the sequel rights, so that's why George Lucas was able to convince him to give him the rights. That's the only answer I can have. Yeah, we gave George Lucas the sequel rights. The first movie made a lot of money. The brand's his. Just give him the rights. But like, we're still gonna make our millions off the distribution fee. Obviously, that's the only way I can think of. Because I don't even know how the heck George Lucas was able to pull that off. Like, no director would ever get full sequel rights for a movie nowadays in Hollywood. I don't even know how the fuck George Lucas pulled it off, man. He just got lucky. And Hollywood was a different industry in the 70s than it is today. That's why I say George is obviously very brave and bold to tell all the executives, I'm taking 100% of the money, man, all the profits, man. Fucking bold. Yeah, man. He's bold like me, right? Just like I'm gonna be bold to the gatekeepers, right? Yeah. Gatekeepers are gonna tell me, oh, Ivan, that brand belongs to us. I'm like, no. This brand is 100% mine. You're not touching it on my money, man. This money's for me. It's not for you. I have the keys. I don't have to sell it to you. I'm saying, yeah. I have the keys. I don't have to sell to you. This money's mine. You're not touching it. There you go. Some sour. Will everybody be like, holy shit, man, Ivan's brave? Oh yeah, everyone's like, holy shit, Ivan's brave. But don't forget, I'm God, right? I'm God, don't forget that, right? And I have the keys. And I have power over death. I'm not gonna have the families do like that, man. Like this, the blaze off this brand is for me and my wife. It's not for you. You're not touching it, man. You make all your tens of trillions out of your 60, 70, 80 every year. I'm not gonna have you take my 20, 25, 30, 40 billion off my book, man. No way. I don't know how much money they could make on a book. I don't know. Maybe 15 to 25, but I might make maybe 30, 35, 40 billion dollars. I don't know. All I know is it's in the tens of billions. But I think around maybe 20 something billion dollars I make off the book. 23, 24 billion I make off the book. Yeah, that money's for me and my wife. It's not for you. You're not touching it, man. You make your tens of trillions every year. This money's for me and my wife. It's not for you. There you go. Oh, hang on. Yeah. I will work on your book. Yeah, I will. I've been adding quite a bit of stuff. Whereby now, before I was at 196,000 words. Now I'm pushing almost 200,000 words. So I polished up like 3,000, almost 3,000 words in my book. I added quite a bit of stuff, man, to make it more interesting. I'm also gonna go over volume 1 and volume 2 in some sections and add some stuff to make it better. Because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my last Xanus book, right? Yeah. I'm almost done. I'm on the final chapter, volume 3. But after the volume 3, I'm not done yet. I want to go over some sections in volume 1 and 2 and add some stuff to make it more interesting, obviously. Yeah. Armin, you say no director nowadays would ever be lucky like George. No, no. Nowadays, no director would ever get a deal owning the whole brand, talking to all the studio executives and telling them they want to share the profits. Hollywood would accept that deal. Nah, man. Like nowadays, you'll be lucky to get points, own maybe a part of it and get points, but not owning the whole brand, man. George Lucas got to own the whole brand, and he got lucky. I don't even know how he pulled it off. Fox actually accepted that deal, and George pulled it off. I don't know how he did that. The only answer I can have is that because Fox gave him the sequel rights. Okay, we gave him the sequel rights. We might as well let him own the brand, but we'll take a piece of the distribution money, and I think they got a piece of the merchandise too. Fox too, they got a piece of the merch too, obviously, because George didn't take 100% of the profits for the merchandise. He partnered with a company, and he took a piece of the royalties for the merchandise, George. But the film money all went to him, and Fox got a piece of the distribution fee. And I saw a documentary. Alan Ladd Jr., the executive at the time for Fox, the Fox board members were so pissed at Alan Ladd Jr. because he gave George Lucas the sequel rights. They were pissed because they lost out on all those hundreds of millions, obviously. And Alan Ladd Jr. was actually rooting for George Lucas. He says, I quit. He actually said, I quit. Like, no, I'm saying, even though I gave George Lucas the rights, we still made a lot of money off the first movie. Because for the first movie, Fox took 50% of the profits. But the sequels, George took the majority of the money. But George still gave him a distribution fee, and he still made Fox a lot of money, obviously. And the board members were irate at Alan Ladd Jr. I saw a documentary about that. Alan Ladd Jr. is like, I quit. Because the board members were so pissed at Alan Ladd Jr. that they let this man George own the brand. Yeah, they're furious, obviously. That's how you know George got lucky, and that's how you know. I think Hollywood learned from their mistake after the Star Wars success. Nowadays, I'm talking to all your directors. If you think you're gonna end up owning the whole brand like George is, it's never gonna happen now in Hollywood, man. The Hollywood companies agree they'll never let a director own the whole brand like that. No way. They'll give you maybe points if you have a small, you own a part of it, but they're not going to let you own the whole thing. Hollywood nowadays, no way. Hollywood companies are greedy, man. Especially if your first movie is a hit. Star Wars made $500 million back in the 70s, which is equivalent to about $1 billion today. If a movie made that kind of money, no way would a Hollywood executive team give the director full sequel rights after the movie making that kind of money. No way. Hollywood companies are greedy, man. They chase after money. They'll give the director maybe points, maybe they own a part of it, but not the full brand nowadays. No way. Hollywood's a different industry than it was in the 70s, man. George Lucas was a product of his time. He got lucky. Obviously, some center. Just like Ivan O'Mara is lucky because Ivan O'Mara has the keys to the kingdom, obviously. And the gatekeepers they're not touching my money. Yeah. Yeah, Ivan, you're not touching a dime of our money, but like we deserve. Yeah, you're selfish. Like you won't let me touch a dime of your money ever since I was born. Ever since I was born to this dumpster, this cursed place. Obviously, you've been making your tens of trillions every year since I was born. While I was poor. And now that I wrote my master's, I was saying, now you also want to take my money. I'm like, you're not touching my money. Zero. This money's for me. You're not touching it. Here we go. The money belongs to me and my wife, and you know it. You're just greedy. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I can't stand the fact that you're being that rich, man. I don't want you making, I don't know, your 25 billion off your book, living out life with PJ and owning your film studio and owning your brand, Ivan. That brand's huge. Yeah, they're salving over my brand. They know my brand's like a $100 million brand, man. They don't want me making that kind of money, even though you make more money around the world because you're greedy. Greedy pigs. Yeah. After this, I'm gonna go get my pack of smokes. I'll enjoy a show with you guys, and after that, I'm gonna work on my book. And I'll watch The Chosen. I binged like 3 episodes of The Chosen. The Chosen is a Jesus movie. It's an amazing show, guys. It's a popular show outside North America. It's a very popular show. I saw the first 3 episodes, and holy shit, this show is amazing. It's an amazing show, The Chosen. I recommend all you guys want to really try out The Chosen by Angel Studios. It's an amazing show. Story of Jesus and the disciples' perspective. Yeah. Why will Xanus be like Passion of the Christ? You get the vibes, yeah, the vibes of Passion of the Christ, like Jesus and the woman and everything. You get some similarities with Xanus, but the world is more like Lord of the Rings. But the world will not be like Lord of the Rings. It's different Lord of the Rings, but you get some similarity. You guys get the picture. That's my point. With Xanus, obviously. Yeah, that's my point, obviously, right? Yeah. Let me charge my phone because my battery is pretty low, right? Oh, but if I charge it, the phone will be positioned. It won't be positioned as well. Let's see. All right, you think the gatekeepers will tell you that the brand is theirs? Yeah, they might be ballsy to tell me that that brand belongs to them. Like, you guys are fucking crazy people, man. You didn't write the book. I know you're blinded by the fact that this is your house and you own everything in the world. Yeah, you may own everything in the world, but the Xanus brand, you don't own it. You didn't write it. This is my brand, my rights. It's not yours. I'm not gonna have you guys take my money after what you put me through my life and keeping me poor. I know if I sell it, you're gonna dupe me and you're gonna destroy my life. Like you dupe Victoria Justice, you're gonna dupe me too. I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna have you dupe like that, man. Whereby I'm worth like $30 million and you're taking all my billions. When the world is not buying the movie because of you, they're buying it because of me. I'm gonna tell them, look, man, if I sell out, you're gonna dupe me and you're gonna steal all my money. You tell me that I'm stealing from you, and yet you're doing the very thing that you're accusing me of supposedly doing. Yo, Ivan, you're fucking with our money. You're stealing our money. I'm like, yeah, and if I sell to you, you're also stealing my money too. No, we're not, Ivan. Yes, you are. Ivan, we're the gatekeepers. Yeah, you may be the gatekeepers, but you're not God, man. Seriously, when Hollywood releases a movie, why is the movie making all that money? Is it because of the gatekeepers, or is it because of me and BJ's keys and because we're special? Yeah, it's because of you guys. Yeah, so you're stealing my money, man. That money belongs to me. Those billions belong to me. That's why I'm not selling. I'm not gonna have you guys do like that, man. That's what God gave you the keys, Ivan. That way the gatekeepers don't dupe you. Because the whole world is only buying me and BJ's movies because of our keys and because we're special. It's not because of you. So you're duping us and you're stealing our money. There you go. And the gatekeepers know that, but they're blinded by their envy and their greed. Yeah, we know that. We don't care. Like we want you to be under us, and you act like as if you're God. You created this place. You didn't, man. You're not God. You didn't create this place. Don't hate him. Yeah. Sorry. So you don't know how. Yeah, I don't even know how George Lucas pulled that off, man. Like he went to the executive office, the Hollywood executive office, like the powerful men in Hollywood, and he told them, I'm taking 100% of the profits, and they agreed to it. I don't know how George Lucas convinced him. My guess is that George Lucas really like he had to really fight hard for his rights, honestly. George Lucas must have told him, yeah, you gave me the sequel rights to the movie, you might as well let me own the brand. Like you gave me the rights. Yeah, we gave you the rights, George. We'll I'll allow you. Okay, fine. I'll give you the rights. But George probably had to really fight hard for his rights because it's very. He was a product of his time. He got lucky, man. I don't know how he pulled that off, man. No director today would ever get 100% of the royalties, man. For a movie, for the sequels, obviously, especially after the first movie made like I don't know $1 billion equivalent today. Hollywood would never give a director 100% of the profits. I don't know how George Lucas pulled it off. George would tell me, "Yeah, Ivan, I got lucky, man. I had to really fight." George might tell me, "Yeah, Ivan, I had to really fight my ass off for my rights." Like I told them, "Yeah, you guys gave me the secret rights. You might as well. The brand's already mine. I deserve the majority of this, obviously." But he did give them a small distribution fee on the side. Maybe 5% or something like that. It's Fox. Fox still made a lot of money off that. And I saw a documentary. The Fox board members had a huge argument with Al Ladd Jr. They were very pissed off. Like, what the fuck, Laddie? How can you? Why the fuck would you give this man like the sequel rights? You know what I'm saying? He's like, look, guys, I didn't know Star Wars would be a hit. Yeah, Al Ladd Jr. and Fox didn't know Star Wars would be a hit. They thought it'd flop. It'd be a stinker. That's why they gave George the sequel rights. But George got lucky, and Hollywood was a different industry, guys, in the 70s than it is today. No director nowadays will ever be lucky like George. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. As nowadays, the Hollywood industry, they're very greedy, man. They're greedy pigs, those guys. Yeah. The only way a filmmaker can own a movie is if it's a small budget. If it's like a $5, $10, $20,000, $50,000 budget, those movies, most filmmakers own their movie. But those movies are not that popular. They don't make that much money. It might make maybe 200,000. Those movies, the filmmakers can own that. When it comes to the hundreds of thousands, especially the millions, no. Chances are the investors own the majority of the brand, and they might give the filmmaker a piece of it, or they own it 50-50 or something like that. In some rare cases, but no way will a director get 100% of the brand, the profits, especially after their first movie made like $1 billion, because Star Wars made about $500 million back in 1977, which is equivalent to $1 billion today. But the only answer I can give why George Lucas was able to get the rights is because Fox gave him the sequel rights. That's why George was able to own the brand. Had Fox not given George the sequel rights, George Lucas never would have owned Star Wars. Obviously, he got lucky. Yeah. Yeah, we thought the movie would tank. We gave George Lucas the sequel rights, and the movie made $500 million around there, which is equivalent to $1 billion today. But it's too late. We already gave George Lucas the sequel rights. He owns the brand. Obviously, he owns the brand, but George was able to get 100%. I don't know, 95% of the profits of the box office, man. I don't know how George Lucas pulled it off, man. Yeah, he got lucky, man. He's a product of his time. Yeah, George is the luckiest director. George is the most successful and luckiest director in movie history. He's even more successful than Steven Spielberg, obviously. Steven Spielberg is worth about $4 billion because he made a lot of money off his movies. But Steven Spielberg doesn't own all the movie brands. He might have part ownage in it, but he doesn't own all the movie brands. George Lucas was lucky to own his whole Star Wars Batman. Yeah. More successful than Steven Spielberg and even Francis Coppola. Because Francis Coppola and Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were good friends. They all went to the same university, USC, I believe, right? Yeah, I saw a documentary. They were good friends back in the 70s. And Steven Spielberg was already successful off doing Jaws. And Francis Coppola did The Godfather before Star Wars came out, obviously. And Francis Coppola was like a mentor to George. And well, like when George, before George did Star Wars, Francis Coppola and Steven Spielberg were already like pretty big no names because they did their hit movies, The Godfather and Jaws, honestly. Whereas George was still an upcoming director. He did THX. He did American Graffiti, and everyone thought Star Wars would tank, and Star Wars ended up being a huge hit, man. And George got lucky, and he ended up owning the whole brand. And he's more successful than Francis Coppola and even Steven Spielberg, obviously. He's worth more than all those guys, George. He got lucky, man. Product of his time. Yeah. Yeah. So all you filmmakers are asking me, Ivan, like how can we own our brand? The only way for you to own your own brand, you have to finance with your own money. But I mean, most filmmakers are not going to do that because they don't. First of all, they don't have the money. Most of them don't have the money. If it's in a movie that's in the millions of dollars in terms of budget, most filmmakers don't have that money, and it's risky. That's why they find investors. But if you find investors to invest in your movie, they're going to end up owning, chances are, the majority of your movie. They might give you 50% of it if you're lucky, but they're going to end up owning the majority of it. They might give you a nice piece of it, obviously. Unless you're doing a small budget like 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, then those smaller movies, the filmmakers can own that, obviously. But chances are those movies are not going to make much money because they're small little budget movies. They're not going to make that much money, those movies. That's obviously right. Yeah. That's there's context, obviously. So the smaller the budget, obviously, the smaller the budget, then the higher of a chance you can own your brand, because your movie might make maybe 100,000, 200,000, $100,000. You can most likely own that. But when it's in the hundreds of thousands, especially the millions, chances are you're not going to own your brand, as you have to. Investors are going to want to own your brand. Yeah, we invested money in this movie. We're owning the majority of this, but we'll give you a small ownage partnership agreement or something like that. Or they might own the whole thing and they might just give you points as a director, right? I mean, yeah, that's how it works. But those guys are not me. They don't have the keys like me. They're not special. I have the keys, so I can 100% guarantee I can own my Xanus, but I have the keys to the kingdom. I don't have to sell the gatekeepers. Yeah. So Sarah. Yeah. Yeah. That's why you're having George Lucas help me. Yeah, George Lucas is the right man to help me because George Lucas had his own Lucasfilm company independent from the Hollywood system. So he knows all the laws, all the rules, all the laws, everything. Hence why he's the best man to help me, obviously. Start Scotch Entertainment with my wife, obviously. And he'll walk me through everything. Yeah, I'll walk you through everything. This is what you have to do. You want your own film studio independent from Hollywood, like me? I'm like, yeah, George. You're like me. I'm like, yeah, independent from Hollywood, like his Lucasfilm. Except Skyscraper will be better than Lucasfilm, obviously. As I'm putting out like $3 billion budget movie for Xanus, obviously. So Star Wars is the only film studio when I start Skyscraper Entertainment with my wife what's independent from the Hollywood system, but it's actually better than Hollywood because I'm putting out bigger budget movies than even Hollywood. I can pay the Hollywood actors more money than what they make in Hollywood, obviously. I can actually pay them more money, man. More money, obviously. And I get all the Hollywood actors out of the Hollywood system who are chosen my movie. But after the movie's done, you're going back to the Hollywood system. I'm not going to save the next movie you go deserve. Oh, I'm saying, yeah, you can bet all you want. You're not going to get the next movie. I know all the Hollywood actors are going to beg because my company blows out of the water and I can pay them more money. But I'm like, look, man, you're only good for this movie. You're going to go back to Hollywood and be left behind. You deserve. I'm not going to have you guys do like that. So I'm sorry. But all the Hollywood actors will beg, obviously. They're going to beg for me to resign them, obviously. They're going to beg hard. Because my company blows out of the water. I can pay them more, man. They made more money than what they made now. Yeah, Ivy can pay me more. He can give me better perks. And his budgets blow out of the water. And I experienced that worldwide fame with him and all that stuff. Man, I don't want to go back to Hollywood. I want to work for Ivy for the rest of my life. I know. All the Hollywood actors are going to want to work for me for the rest of their life. And don't forget it, working for Ivan America means you get your freedom. That's one reason why they're begging you. Not a big reason, but they're begging because they know my client was out of the water and they were safe and they don't get left behind. They know as long as they work for me, they're free. They make all those millions, those tens of millions, those millions, and they have freedom, obviously. Because when they go back to Hollywood, they're what? They're in the Hollywood system. I know what I'm saying. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know, that man. I'm like, no, John, you get that. I'm not paying more money. Stop being greedy. Yeah. Alright, you're gonna write their unique? No, I won't. It's just a distraction. But I have my file saved on my Hotmail just in case in the future. Chances are in the future when I'm getting, I probably will end up finishing the book before the movie comes out. I might end up just writing the book, and I'll make the movie based off my book, obviously. But for now, I'm just gonna focus on Xanus because before, I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? Why are you sidetracked finishing their unique when you already finished Xanus? Just polish that up, get that done first before you sidetrack working on their unique. I decided to put their unique on hold. Yeah, I'm not gonna write. I wrote one chapter. I'm gonna put this on hold. I'll just focus on Xanus. Xanus I already finished. I just gotta polish it up a little bit. Want a final chapter? Yeah, focus on Xanus, obviously. Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, Xanus will be more popular than Harry Potter. Yeah, well, Xanus will be more popular than Harry Potter. Right? It'll be even more popular than George Lucas' Star Wars, man, guys. Star Wars is pretty much the number one IP in the anime industry, right? I don't think there's anything more popular than Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars is number one, man. Obviously. Most popular IP in Hollywood, Star Wars. Yeah. More popular than Lord of the Rings, more popular than Marvel. Like, yeah, the Marvel movies on average are doing more, and before in phases 1, 2, and 3, they were averaging more money than the Star Wars movies. But the Star Wars brand as a whole is even bigger than Marvel, right? It's bigger than Marvel, man. Because the merchandise and the games for Star Wars is very, very popular. And you also have all the hundreds of legend books they have. Star Wars IP is number one. But right now, Marvel is probably doing a bit better than. Well, no, Marvel's in a bad state right now. The Marvel brand went downhill after Phase 3, obviously. And the Star Wars brand is also in a pretty bad spot now, too, obviously. Yeah, but Star Wars is even bigger than Marvel, guys. It's number one IP in Hollywood. But Xanus will beat it. Xanus will be more popular than George Lucas' Star Wars, man. George would tell me, yeah, Ivan, your Xanus brand is more popular than my Star Wars, Ivan. I know, George. Ivan, you wrote that book? I'm like, yeah. He's like, holy shit, Ivan, I read that book. That's a masterpiece, Ivan. That's better than my Star Wars originals, I know. Star Wars has better world building, but the Xanus story is better than even George Lucas' Star Wars original story, right? It's a masterpiece, man. George even told me, Ivan, you wrote that book, man? The last one for Xanus? I'm like, yeah. He's like, holy shit, that's a masterpiece, Ivan. I read your book, man. I binged the whole thing in like 2 days, Ivan. So that's better than my Star Wars story. I know, it's better than your Star Wars story, George. It's a masterpiece. Xanus, read it. Amazing story. Even Vijay will be shocked. She's like, Ivan, you wrote that book? I'm like, yeah, I did. She's like, holy shit, Ivan, that's a masterpiece, Ivan. You wrote that? I'm like, yeah. She's like, Ivan, that's the greatest story I ever told, man. That's a masterpiece, man. Peter would tell me, Ivan, you wrote that book? I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, holy shit, Ivan, I enjoyed it more than Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. All right, I know, Peter. It's better than Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. It's a masterpiece, man. Yeah, man. You guys read Session One book. You know what I'm talking about, man. When you read my book and you read Lord of the Rings, be honest. What book is more entertaining? Your book, Ivan. Yeah, my book is more entertaining than reading Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece, but for me personally, it's a bit boring when you read it in some sections, right? Whereas my book is not like that. My book is very entertaining and fresh when you read it. It's a masterpiece. But I'm going to give you a heads up, guys. Lord of the Rings does have the richer speech in terms of the dialogue, the richness of the speech, richer than my book, obviously. And the world building is more rich and in depth. But my world building, I think, is more unique than Lord of the Rings. But Lord of the Rings has a richer, more in depth history and world building than my book, obviously. But my book has the better story, and the world building, I think, is more unique. With the North and the South, it's an amazing story. Some sour. Yeah. But there will be probably millions of fans out there who still like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings better. If you like those books better, guys, I understand. I'm not going to judge you for it. Art hits everyone different ways, right? I highly doubt it. Most fans will say they like my book more, but I mean, there's some fans who might like, no, I like Lord of the Rings better. Yeah, if you like Lord of the Rings better, guys, I understand. I'm not going to judge you for it. Art hits everyone different ways, right? My stepmother did tell me Xanus is number one, so that kind of answers your question, right? Yeah. Where I do have this live, and I'm gonna watch a show with you guys or after you guys, right? And then I'm gonna work on my book. I've been consistent working on my book like every day. I'm on the final chapter. I finished Walking with the Ancestors chapter. It flew by so fast. Now I'm on War and Becoming King, the final chapter. But after I finish Volume 3, I'm going to go over some sections in Volume 1 and 2. I'm going to add a few things here and there to make it more interesting for my book, right? I have to save my money. Save $2,000. Who will you have proofread your book? Probably Fiverr, or I'll find some independent person to do it. The independent person are cheaper than the bigger companies, obviously. That's why George said that. Yeah, that's why George says, yeah, if you own the movie, you make a lot of money. Because if you own the movie, like 100% of the money goes to you, or the majority of it goes to you, and the distribution company takes a piece of it. Obviously, it depends how you want to distribute your movie. Obviously, but he says you have to put the money and you have to take the risk. It's risky. There's a saying in the film industry: never self-finance your movie. It's risky. You can lose all your money, man. Especially if it's a big budget movie. You don't want to invest all your money into that and lose all your money. Like Francis Coppola did. He invested like $120 million of his money. He sold his vineyard for Megalopolis, and the movie flopped. And now Francis Coppola, whatever his name is, he's bankrupt, man. Lost all his money, man. That's why you never self-finance movie with your own money. But I'm the exception because I'm special. The VJ are special. We have the keys, so it's not risky, obviously, for us. And I have no choice but to self-finance it because I can't touch the gatekeeper's money. Yeah. Like before I talk about investors calling me to invest in my movie, no, the gatekeepers will never let me touch a dime of their money. I can't touch their money. But because I made the billions off my book, I can self-finance Xanus with my own money, obviously. Because that's my money. You know? Because even when me and VJ are king and queen, we can't touch the gatekeeper's money. The only thing we can do is minimum wage. Because I got VJ out. I didn't sell the gatekeepers. Yeah, Ivan, you're not touching our money. Because I made the billions off my book, I can self-finance things with my own money for $3 billion. I mean, VJ can pay our bills with the billions we made off the book. Obviously, we can build our $1 million house, buy our cars, our yachts, or jets, and we can easily afford to pay our bills with that money. Obviously, because we have billions in our bank. Obviously, that's why God gave me the keys. Though I can have my own money, man. The family's open. My father knew the gatekeepers never let me touch a dime of the money. That's why he gave me the keys. Because he knew either way I'd be fucked. Yeah, either you don't sell to me, Ivan, and I keep you poor working minimum wage, or you sell to me, I'll let you make your money, but I'm not going to let you make your billions. I'll let you make maybe your $5 million for your movie. They're going to dupe you, Ivan. That's why God gave me the keys. Over the family's going to dupe me, man. The situation is so serious. They won't. VJ's like, yeah, Ivan, they're greedy pigs. Yeah, VJ, you sold out. You only went $20 million. That's how you know the families are never going to let you make your money, Ivan. They have an envy. That's why I came with the keys, though. They don't dupe me, man. Yeah. That's what I give the keys over the families don't dupe you, Ivan. Some Sarah. Will you be adding quite a bit of stuff in your movie? Yeah, I will. Some stuff that's in the book, I'm not going to follow the book word to word. No, I'm going to be adding probably good maybe 25, even 30% of stuff that are not in the book to make it more interesting. Like Takis on trial, I'll add more scenes with Eritad, with Job, and I'll have a bit more scenes in the prologue that are not in the book. You don't have to follow 100%. No, I'll follow probably 70% of the story, and I'll be adding quite a bit of stuff to make it more interesting, obviously, to give the story more depth in some sections of the book that lacks depth, obviously. Some Sarah. Give more scenes with the eagles. My idea for the story is in young Tactius, Tactius and young Tacitonians, they sit down with the eagles and the eagles tell them stories. That's not in the book. Because Ivan, the eagles tell them stories. Yeah, Peter, you think we should do that? Yeah, we should do that. That's more interesting, Ivan. Ivan, you're creative. I know, Peter. The eagles tell Tactius and Tacitonius stories. In the book, they don't tell them stories, as the eagles are very minor characters. But in the movie, I'm gonna have them. They tell like Tactius some stories, obviously. Yeah, to make more interesting, obviously. Yeah. Mel's like, Ivan, that's a good idea. Yeah, you tell Mel Gibson that if I choose Mel and Ronnie Wallace, obviously. Yeah. Some Sarah. Yeah. That's we're looking at a masterpiece man for Xanus. Amazing story. Yeah, man. Well, we should be excited for the movie actually was. I can't wait to play Olivia Ivan, I know. So I'm excited for the movie, VJ. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, is John Rice Davis your first choice? He is. John Rice Davis is my first choice for Eli. The problem with him is his age. He's like 80 now. By the time I do the movie, he'll be like 90. When you're 90, you can't really do much stuff. You can like John Rice Davis won't be able to fight. You're gonna have stunt double jumping for him. Like people will tell me, yeah, John Rice Davis is good for Eli Ivan, but yeah, you're right, Ivan. He's fucking old. That's why I might end up going for maybe Liam Neeson, maybe to play Eli, because Liam Neeson's a bit younger. Liam Neeson will be in his 80s. In your 80s, you can still act, but once you're 90, you're done, man. You can't do shit. You're just too old. Liam Neeson will be like maybe 84 years old, 83, early 80s. He can still be in the movie. But for the action sequences, you might have to have stunt double jump in. Or Liam Neeson might tell me, no, I want to do my own fighting scenes. Well, can you do your own fighting scenes, Liam Neeson? Liam, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? He'll be a bit older. Obviously. You could pay Liam Neeson a lot of money for the movie. Some Sarah. Yeah. Sign Liam Neeson to like a $100 million deal, which is like 75 million in his American money, because he lives in New York, America. So you can pay Liam Neeson his $100 million. Liam Neeson's worth like about 150 million around there. So you can pay him like a 20 million salary. You can give him a 10 I don't know, an 11 million bonus, something like that. You can give him 16 million of the film profits for the movie. That's a good deal for him. You pay him like 4.5 million, 5 million for the game, and you can give him like 4 million for the merch, something like that. That's a good deal for him, obviously. Sound like a 108 million deal, whatever it is, which is like 76, 77 million in his American money. That's a good deal for Liam Neeson, obviously. Liam Neeson might be my second choice for Eli, playing the father of Lithia. I think he's good for Eli, obviously. John Rice Davis is my first choice, but the problem with him is his age. He's old, man. He's like 80 now. I just wish he was younger, man. Yeah, man. Peter might tell me, I don't worry about it, be fine. I'm like, yeah, Peter, I see what you're saying, but like when he's 90, Peter. Like when you're 90, you can't do shit. That's why Peter might tell me, yeah, Ivan, it's a bad idea. John Rice Davis is 90. He won't be able to really do the fighting scenes and all stuff. He's too old for the role. But John Rice Davis might he might really convince me. Ivan, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I'm like, John, can you do fighting scenes at 90? No, Ivan, I can't really do the scenes I used to do in Lord of the Rings. Now, Lord of the Rings, he was in his 50s. It's almost 40 years later. Now he's like 90, man. Yeah. Some Sarah? Oh, Hamson, yeah. Because Peter might tell me, yeah, Ivan, you got a good point there. John Rice Davis, even though he's very good for Eli, he's fucking old, Ivan. He'll be like 90 when he films the movie. Can he handle the work? Yeah, man. 90, you're done, man. 90 years old, you're done. You can't really do any action sequences. You're done, man. Yeah. Whereas Liam Neeson will be in his 80s, so he in your 80s, you can still do the action sequences, but the work will be a bit tougher on Liam Neeson's body. But you can still do the scenes, obviously. You could pay him a lot of money for Liam Neeson for the movie. And Bernard Hill was also good for Eli too, but he passed away, unfortunately. The man passed away, so he's obviously out of the picture. But you have other actors compete for Eli too. I'll have maybe some younger actors who are maybe in their 70s, late 60s, audition for the role of Eli. There's other actors out there who you have to give an opportunity to be in your movie. But Liam Neeson's probably my second choice for Eli. Obviously. Like, what about 100 when I was released? I'm like, no, he's not worth that. He gets 60 million. I'm not paying him 100. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah, but Ivan, why are you paying Liam Neeson only 60? Because even though Liam Neeson is worth maybe his 75 million for the movie, I'm paying him 60 because Eli is not like the lead character. He doesn't contribute as much to the role as some of the other actors. That's why there's context, you pay them a bit less. I'm still making sure he gets paid. As Liam Neeson doesn't make that in Hollywood, he makes like his 5, 10, 15, 20 in Hollywood for his movies. I'm paying him like a $108 million deal, which is like 77 million is American money. That's a lot of money for Liam Neeson. He doesn't make that in Hollywood. No, somebody go, that's a deal. Sign me up, man. I don't even make this in Hollywood. He's like, fuck Hollywood, Ivan. I'm going to work hard for you. Yeah, Liam Neeson, you have to destroy the role of Eli, the leader of Safius, right? Yeah. But John Rice Davis is the best for Eli. It's just his age. That's the problem, right? People tell me, yeah, Ivan, I see what you're saying, man. Like, John Rice Davis is good for Eli, but he's fucking old, Ivan. Yeah, Peter, he's like 90 now, man. Can he handle that work? And Peter might tell me, yeah, Ivan, I recommend you cast someone else. Cast Liam Neeson or someone else in Hollywood to play Eli. But I might still choose John Rice Davis. It just depends. Can he handle the work at 90? That's the real question, right? You have to ask John Rice Davis that question, obviously. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. Is John Mayer your first choice? Yeah, John Mayer is my first choice. Yvonne George is my first choice, but they're going to be competing with other actors. Like John Boyega, I'll have him compete with Daniel Kaluuya for Tacitonius. And Papari, Yvonne George, I'll have him compete with Dev Patel and maybe Timothy Chalamet for Papari. But Yvonne George and John Mayer are my first choice. I'm most likely gonna end up choosing those guys. Yeah, like 80% chance I choose those guys, 20% chance I choose the other guys. They pretty much got the job. I'm most likely gonna choose those guys. I don't think anyone's better for the role than John Boyega for the part. John Boyega has that sarcasm in Star Wars. He's a bit funny. That's why he's very good for Tacitonius. Yvonne George, I think, is the best for Papari. He has that Jesus disciple look. Dev Patel has a look too, but I think Yvonne George is better for the role. He has that Jesus disciple look. That's why he's very good for the part, obviously. Piers Aga, I see what you're saying. You want that Jesus disciple look. Yeah, I have Yvonne George is good for the role. Piers Ivan, man, you chose the right cast, man. All your actors are good for the role, Ivan. I know, Peter. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like $1 billion that out. I'm like, no, Peter, you get 850. I'm not paying you $1 billion. Stop being greedy. Ivan, it's nothing, man. I know Peter's nothing, but I'm not paying him more money, man. Like, stop being greedy. This is more than what we made for the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. There you go. I'm just messing, man. That's not money for me. I'm just greedy. I want a bigger chunk of that. I know, Peter, you're greedy, but I'm not paying more money. Okay, you greedy pig. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like $400 for the game and for the merch. I'm like, no, Peter, you get $250 and $200 for the merch of the game. That's enough. And you get your $850 million for the film profits, and you get your $100 million for your $85 million for your base, which is $100 million in your New Zealand money. You don't make $100 million for your base in Hollywood, Peter. You make like your 10, 15, 20. Yeah, because that's a lot of money for me. $85 million, $100 million of my New Zealand money for my base. That's not money for me, Ivan. Yeah, Peter, that's not money for you. Stop being greedy. Yeah. Why does Peter want more money, Ivan? Well, because he knows I'm going to make my tens of billions for my movie and my merch and my game. He wants a bigger cut of that, obviously. He knows even $300-400 is pocket change, but I'm not paying him that. I'm not going to have him do me, man. I'm not going to have Peter. I'm not going to overpay Peter and have him do me. What I'm paying him is enough. He doesn't make that in Hollywood. This is more than what I made for the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You know, Ivan, it's a deal. Sign me up. I'm saying Ken Commons, his agent's like, Ivan, that's a good deal for Peter Jackson. Sign us up, Ivan. Yeah, that's a good deal for Peter. And Mel Gibson's agent will set my deal too. $550 million deal for Mel Gibson. That's a good deal for Mel Gibson, obviously. I'm sorry. Almost on it, guys. After this, I'm gonna go start getting my smokes. I'll enjoy the show with you guys. I'm gonna work on my book after that. I'll watch The Chosen. I'll binge season 1 today, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, did you guys hear the news? Netflix apparently won the bidding war to buy Warner Bros. I'm talking to you, Warner Bros. I recommend you bow out of this deal, man. I don't think it's a good idea having a streaming studio owning your brand, guys. What the fuck are you guys thinking, man? But I get the picture. Warner Bros. Has a lot of debt they have to pay off. Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. They have to pay off a lot of their debt. But I don't think Netflix owning Warner Bros. Is a good idea, guys. I recommend you bow out of this deal. It's a bad idea. Just keep Warner Bros. As its own entity, as a studio. Don't let Netflix buy you guys out, man. Like, Netflix is a streaming studio. Why would you have those guys purchase your company, man? Oh, bad idea. I think it's a very, very bad idea. And I have my worries. Like, what if Warner Bros. Now releases all their movies on streaming now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I think it's a bad idea, guys, having Netflix acquire you guys, man. Warner Bros. I'm talking to you. I recommend you bow out of that deal, man. I don't think it's a good idea having Netflix owning your brand. Bad idea. Some sound. As I believe Disney purchasing Fox was a bad investment. It was a bad idea. Disney purchased Fox for like $70 billion, and I think that was a bad idea doing that. Fox should have stayed as its own entity as a studio. Obviously. Yeah. So now you have two studios who have been acquired by another big studio. Obviously. Bad idea. Yeah, Disney invested, I think, about like $70 billion towards Fox. It's gonna take a while for them to see a return in their investment. They spent $70 billion for Fox, and it's gonna take a while for them to see a return in their investment, obviously. But I mean, what have they done with Fox Disney since they acquired it? Not much. The only good thing about it is you have Deadpool and Wolverine now part of the MCU, perhaps. And you have the X-Men characters who could be in the Avengers movies, but I mean, what has Disney really done with Fox since they acquired Fox? They haven't really done much. So that was pretty much a bad investment. $70 billion of money to acquire Fox. And what have you done with that deal, Disney? Not much. And now Netflix is acquiring Warner Bros., a streaming company, a streaming studio, acquiring a theatrical film studio. And my fear with Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. Is that, like, what if all the Warner Bros. Movies they end up putting it straight to streaming instead of putting it on theaters? Like, if they do that, Netflix, that's going to be a disaster for the company, man. And they're not going to make much money, obviously. Because streaming, you don't. Netflix doesn't make money off analytics for the streaming platform. They make money off the subscribers, obviously. Theaters is where you make your money. But my fear is that Netflix, all the Warner Bros. Movies that are supposed to be released on theaters, Netflix might put them straight to streaming now because they own the Warner Bros. Brand. That's my fear. If they do that, that's a disaster. That's why I'm talking to you, Warner Bros. I recommend you bow out of this deal. This is not a good idea. I recommend just bow out of the deal, obviously. Bow out of the deal and just keep Warner Bros. as its own entity, man. You guys killed it this year You're killing it in the box office with Sinners and Superman and all these movies. Just bow out of the deal, guys. This is a bad idea. I don't mean to be rude. I'm talking Warner Bros. I recommend you bow out of this deal. This is not a good idea, man. A streaming. Why would you have Netflix, a streaming platform, own your theatrical film business? Why would you do that? The only thing I can think of is that Warner Bros. Is a bit desperate with their debt. They have billions of dollars in debt. Netflix acquiring them, they can pay off some of their debt. That's the only reason why Warner Bros. Probably is accepting this deal. But Netflix, guys, is a streaming film studio. And if they acquire you and they want to put all your big budget movies straight to Netflix, that can destroy the brand, man. Honestly. So A Hunt for Gollum, the new Lord of the Rings movie that's supposed to be released, obviously, my fear is that, like, what if Netflix puts that straight to streaming instead of putting it on theaters? They make all these changes and everything is a disaster, man. Bad idea, guys. Bow out of the deal, guys. Talking to you, Warner Bros. Bow out of the deal. Not a good idea. Oh, him said, yeah. Go ahead, Robert Ivan. You know your shit. Yeah, I do. I know my shit, guys. Yeah. So Ivan, you have your fear. Yeah, like, unfortunately, it's kind of fear with Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. Like, what if, I don't know, what if the DC, what if James Gunn's DC universe, what if Netflix decides to put all those movies straight to streaming instead of putting it on theaters? What if Netflix does that, man? That could ruin the brand, man. Like, you guys see what I'm saying? That's why it's a bad idea. Like, imagine you have a situation whereby all the future DCU universe movies, obviously James Gunn's DC universe, Netflix puts all those movies straight to streaming. What if Netflix does that? And that'll be a disaster for James Gunn's DCU. You guys see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking to Warner Bros. Buy the deal. It's a bad idea. Don't accept this deal, guys. Bow out. It's a bad idea, man. And maybe they might bow out because Ivan, this video will go viral, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's why you're not doing streaming for Sky Source. Yeah, I don't like streaming. I prefer 4K Blu-ray. Yeah. Well, Ivan, what are your options for distribution? Well, there's many options. Before I show you, there's many options. I can either build theater chains around the world, which will cost me like tens of billions of dollars, money that I don't even have, most likely. Or I release it straight to streaming, or I partner with Amazon for 4K Blu-ray, or I build stores all over the world, and that's where I sell all my 4K Blu-ray movies. But that's a bad investment. The best investment is either straight to streaming, or I partner with Amazon 4K Blu-ray, and I'm choosing 4K Blu-ray with Amazon because I don't like streaming. And 4K Blu-ray is Dolby Vision, Dolby Sound. That's for looking at an amazing experience over my movies, obviously. Yeah. Anyways, guys, here's where I hope guys for the show. I talked for an hour. That's good enough. Stay tuned. I'll make a video probably, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I remember I'm signing off. Peace. Hope you guys enjoy the show. My man. Peace out.